All right, let's now shift our attention to Hong Kong, and it's been the 12th straight weekend of protests which have ripped through the city. And the city's brief respite from violence was broken yet again after the police fired tear gas canisters at the protesters as they clashed with the police. Now, thousands of demonstrators with gas masks and hard hats marched through the industrial Kwun Tong area and were met by the police. And according to the police, at least about 29 people have been arrested after these dramatic clashes overnight. Now, the protesters attempted to dismantle the lamp posts while others gathered onto the streets and formed barriers. Now, some of the protesters also launched stones with slingshots and used iron bars and bricks at the riot police. While the riot police have fired back pepper spray and tear gas, the Hong Kong government has condemned the violent acts of the protesters and have said that a number of smart lampposts were deliberately damaged. Now, the government has also added that the smart lampposts do not carry facial recognition function and would not infringe upon personal privacy. In an attempt to forestall the planned protesters, the city's subway operator MTR also had suspended services between the subway stations in the protest areas. Now, the standoff brings an end to a week of relative calm in Hong Kong. And last weekend, the police did not use tear gas, and an estimated 1.7 million people braved the heavy rains and the heat to march peacefully along Hong Kong streets. Now, the protests initially began against the controversial extradition bill that would allow the fugitives to be extradited to China. They've now turned into anti-Beijing protests. The demonstrators have said that they are actually fighting the erosion of the one country, two systems arrangement that enshrines a higher degree of autonomy for Hong Kong since it was handed back from the British to Chinese rule in the year 1997. Meanwhile, the tensions of the Korean peninsula are showing no signs of abating, with the North Korean nation testing its 7th short-range missile in a matter of less than a month. The North Korea's state media has reported that the missile launch was supervised by none other than the man, Kim Jong-un, the man that you're looking at on your screens. The test reportedly involved new super-large multiple rocket launch systems, and according to the state media, the test fire proved that all tactical and technological specifications of the system correctly reached their preset indices. Now, the North Korean leader is said to have called the new missile as a great weapon. The relations between Washington and Pyongyang have deteriorated continuously. The joint military exercise that's been taking place between South Korea and the United States ended last week. But still, North Korea has gone ahead with the launch of its missiles. The North Korea's top diplomat, Ri Yong-ho, had earlier called Secretary of State Mike Pompeo as a poisonous plant of U.S. diplomacy, and it also said that the country was ready for both a standoff and also a dialogue.